All right, so we've got people coming in. Welcome, welcome. We're just getting comfortable here and hopefully you are too. We'll get started in just a few moments. We've got a lot of people in tonight. We've got about 100 plus tickets, so this will be really, really fun. We're just thrilled that you're here. So we'll just give everyone like 1 more minute, 60 more seconds to get settled. Get your wines open if you haven't done that yet. Get your cheese situation. We're ready for you. We have some hands waving. So good. Let's see. Awesome. Hi. So this is a webinar format, as you might be already to tell already. So please use the chat box to talk to us. As the night goes on, I'm going to drop something in the chat right now as an example. And we'll get started in just a second. But the good news is we know we're going to see you a little bit later. We're going to welcome you on camera about halfway through, but we'll prepare you for that when it's time. In the meantime, I think we'll probably make some introductions. So I'm Erin. I'm with Ole and Obrigado, and welcome to Experiences. This is actually our 7th one, if you can believe that. We're thrilled that you're here with us and everyone on this call. So we've got a lot going on tonight. We've got a lot to show you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I do want to tell you what to expect. So first of all, we're going to talk about wine. We're also going to talk about cheese. We really want to play with these pairings, so we're not going to hold you to any particular order of tasting, but if you want, you could go lighter to heavier, white wine, then rosé, then red. How's that sound? We also are going to invite you on to camera as a panelist halfway through the session so we can see you and see your cheese plates. Really important that you take some pictures like right away of your cheese boards. If you put together a presentation, Max is going to explain why in a few minutes, but that's something that we're going to talk about. So the general rule here is that we want to hear your questions. We want to hear your engagement. We have experts here from Despaña, from Ole and Obrigado to tell you about what we're doing. So for those of you who might not be familiar with Ole and Obrigado, we're an importer of artisanal wines from Spain and Portugal. We're so happy to see you, and we're really excited that we're all here raising funds for the Restaurant Workers Community Foundation. We got connected with these guys last year when we were so impressed with the work that they were doing in response to the COVID crisis and how it was affecting people in restaurants and hospitality, which is so near and dear to what we do. So with that, we did a restaurant relief pack in benefit, which some of you might have been aware of, and raised about $65,000 for RWCF. So here to talk to you about RWCF and what they do before we get into the cheese and the wine is Cassandra Rosario. So Cassandra, welcome.
Hi, everyone. As she said, my name is Cassandra Rosario. I'm the social media director over at the Restaurant Workers Community Foundation. We're an advocacy and action nonprofit that was created for and by restaurant workers, started in 2018, really just as a nonprofit that raised funds for other nonprofits that are helping restaurant workers. And just at the onset of the COVID pandemic, we launched a COVID Crisis Emergency Relief Fund. So now we're coming up on a year, and since then we have been able to raise $6.7 million for restaurant workers nationwide. And the COVID relief fund is broken down into 3 ways. 50% of the funds goes into direct relief for restaurant workers. So we have a partner out in Houston called Southern Smoke, and restaurant workers that have been out of work and are experiencing the crisis can apply with them to get funding and get assistance. And then 25% of those funds go to different nonprofits across the country. We've been able to give away $845,000 to these different nonprofits. And these are just nonprofits in New Orleans, LA, that are just focused on restaurant relief, feeding them, mental health resources, and just being able to assist restaurant workers. And then the last 25%, we just launched that piece in January. We're working with a partner, Ascendus, to help restaurant owners kind of come back. And we've been able to give $1.2 million to them to start loans, to help restaurant workers kind of get back into business and help them nationwide get back on a roll with everything that's going on. So just really appreciative of all of you guys that are here tonight and helping us continue this fund and helping us help restaurant workers everywhere. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We're so glad that you're here and glad that you're going to taste wine and cheese with us too. So we can't wait to hear you weigh in on your pairing preferences a little bit later. So as you know, we've got our team here from Ole and Obrigado. Patrick Mata is on, founder of Ole and Obrigado, and we're going to hear him and some of the Despaña team weighing in a little bit later on the wine and the cheese that we're going to talk about tonight. But first, we want to remind you that we are going to explore some really fun, kind of undiscovered corners of Spain and some people that we love that are great friends of ours who are true experts in all things Spain are the team at Despaña. So we have Max Rosenberg on. He's going to introduce the company and their team, talk about what they're doing, tell us a little bit about this competition that you might be interested in before we get into the cheese. So Max.
Nice. Hello, everyone. First, thank you, Team Ole, for inviting us to join you guys. It's awesome to partner with you guys on a lot of fronts. Cassandra, thank you as well for coming out to represent the restaurant workers, and you guys as well for joining us. You know, it's been a pretty tough year for many restaurant workers in the service sector in general. So it's really nice to have everyone come here and there's some support. You know, we're not out of the woods yet, but you know, it seems to be there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So thank you for coming out to support. So my name is Max. I do a lot of our marketing and branding efforts at Despaña. So I want to tell you a little bit about what our brand is for those of you that aren't aware. So Despaña, you know, first in 1971 started as a chorizo manufacturer. So two men from Asturias, northern Spain, felt the need to, you know, enter a Spanish product into the New York marketplace that, you know, was not really filled with a lot of traditional Spanish chorizo. So they imported spices from Spain and sourced local American pork and started producing chorizo out of a small factory on Northern Boulevard in Queens. And the success of that product really started leading to not only more manufacturing of Despaña chorizos from Chistora, Morcilla, and other varieties of chorizos, but in addition to a wide variety of Spanish products that we import directly from Spain. So, you know, from manchegos to olive oils, jamons, we really try to boast our catalog and fill it with a large variety of Spanish products in addition to our lovely chorizos that are produced here in Queens. And today, you know, we're proud to say that we're wholesalers first. You know, we sell to a large variety of restaurants and markets across New York City and the country, in addition to being retailers as well. You know, we have 3 brick and mortar stores, 2 in Soho, a lovely tapas market and a wine store there. And then now where our chorizo factory once was, is now our retail store in Queens. So we're no longer producing out of that specific factory, but it is now our original retail storefront. And, you know, we feel really lucky to be in this position. You know, the name Despaña now means so much to so many people in the community, whether you are an American, you know, interested in discovering the flavors of Spain, whether you're an expatriate Spaniard living in the city looking to connect with the flavors that you miss at home, or you're just looking to be introduced to the flavors in general. We really take pride in our ability to share these products with you all and the American marketplace. So, and tonight, you know, we're happy that we get to share some of that gastronomy with you guys, all of you guys with us. So with that, you know, Aaron mentioned that we wanted to do a little cheese board competition. So the idea was, if you guys haven't already started eating your cheese boards, taking a photo and tagging both Despaña and Ole and Obrigado with your cheese picks. And at the end, maybe we'll choose the best one we like, and maybe you guys will get a prize. So go ahead and do that if you haven't, but if not, no worries. So with that, I'm going to introduce some of our team members. I think first I'm going to introduce Angelica Entriago, who is our co-owner and my great boss. And she is going to be walking you through a variety of cheeses that you'll be tasting today. And then later we're going to have Nacho, who is our wine director, going to walk you through some wines alongside Patrick, and then Victoria, who is our cafe manager, who has worked with these cheeses for many years now, who is our in-house cheese expert. She's going to walk you guys through how to prepare and slice accordingly. So a busy agenda. So I'll pass it off to Angelica now.
Thanks, Max. And I just want to point out before Angelica speaks, we're going to show you some images. We're also going to take a few people off the screen so you can really get a great view, especially when it comes to the demonstration portion. So we'll be spotlighting speaker views for you and showing you a couple other images. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat, or if you want us to zoom in on something, help us steer your view so you have a great experience. So thank you so much, Max. All right, Angelica.
Salud.
Salud.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm far away, so it's definitely an international presentation. Yes, I'm so glad that you all joined.
Where are you now, Angelica?
I'm in Colombia. I'm actually in Colombia. So a lot of you perhaps don't know. So that's my, I was born in Bogota, and after this tough year, I knew that one of the places I would come back to was my home, and I was able to get my vaccines. And so I'm here and I was able to connect. So I brought my cheeses, I brought my wines, and I'm here to really share the love of Spain that I have been so fond of for 20 years of my career and of my life and my family. So my family's from Asturias. My husband is from there, from Amieva. And so it's a cheese producing land. And one of the questions that Patrick posed to me is like, well, how did you select the cheese that we put in this box? And for me, we have so many, we have over 50 varieties of cheese that we import. And Asturias was a no-brainer. I mean, Asturias is a land of 50 different small producers that are artisanal. They work hard to keep their herds healthy, and just the green Spain, right? The green Spain. So definitely I had to go there. This year in November, if everything goes as planned, the Cheese World Awards are going to be celebrated there. So I will be judging. So I'll be happy to be there and tasting over it's about 3,000 cheeses that come into play. So I'll be fortunate. I was there in 2016 in San Sebastian. So it's the second time they're in Spain, and Asturias is the land of that. And then the Samorano, I wanted to pick something that was different to Manchego, but something that everybody knows. Everyone knows Manchego. It's very popular cheese. And I wanted a close cousin, something that was made with raw milk and that we could talk about. So I hope you all enjoy it tonight. And yes, please ask questions, just taste and find your best pairings. And, just talk about, what you'd like to know about the cheese. And Patrick, you had some questions for me, I think, right?
We have many questions.
All right.
So I am a cheese lover. I've been eating cheese since I was born. But I'm curious about how many cheeses are produced in Asturias, Spain, versus, the US. I'm also curious about pasteurized cheese, non-pasteurized. A lot of people talk about that. I'm also interested to learn more about the health benefits. A lot of people, when they think of cheese, they think of cholesterol, fat, and I think that there are people in Spain, Italy, and France that eat cheese every day and live to 100 years old. So how tell us about this snack, that you know so much about.
Well, one of the I think two out of three consumers believe that cheese is one of the best comfort foods. And I think the growth of cheese consumption, even in the US, has grown a lot in the last year for sure. Cheese has absolutely wonderful benefits. I mean, we talk about calcium. 1 ounce of cheese is, 1 gram of cheese can have, 1 ounce of the lactose versus 12 in milk. So definitely it is the healthiest one. With aging, the lactose is less. So it's something that you can have. And sometimes people think like, I'm lactose intolerant, I shouldn't be eating cheese. Well, if you eat aged cheeses, you most likely will get all those benefits and not so much of the discomfort of the lactose intolerance. So that's one of the things that I think, calcium, phosphorus, gut health, many benefits that you can. And then let's talk about, the good fat. Definitely there's fat in cheese, but what would you have? What would you rather have of that? There is a lot of sodium as well, but again, calories, I think it's what you choose to snack on as a healthier alternative. So definitely cheese is one of those. The other question about the consumption of cheese, USA is the world's biggest producer, and as a whole, the biggest consumption of cheese is in the US, right? Followed by Germany, then France, of those. Per capita, surely, I believe Denmark is one of the biggest ones, then France. So just to give you an idea, so in Spain, sadly, and surprisingly enough to me, we don't consume a lot of cheese in Spain as much as other countries, right? So we have about 7 kilos per capita per person versus, you know, in the US, we have 18. Denmark, we have about 27. So see the gamut, you know, it's that much, it's that big. The good thing is that it's growing in the US and people are catching on, you know, to have these specialty cheeses. And, you know, what I like to focus on is a lot of these small producers, right? Smaller producers, specialty cheeses. And we like to have these different, there are all kinds of different cheeses with dark ash rinds, you know, molds, bloomy rinds, washed rind cheeses, cheeses without rind. And we did get several in that box that have no rind. They have no wax coating. The Samorano does have a wax coating. A lot of people ask me, can I eat this? Will it be harmful? Definitely you can. Is it something that you should probably keep just to see the visual of the cheese? Yes. And you can definitely eat that. How do you take care of cheeses as well, as questions that sometimes people ask me. But definitely as a whole, I think cheese is a category that is wonderful to enjoy. And in the Journal of Medicine for Alzheimer's disease, actually, there was an interesting study that daily intake of cheese and wine gives you mental acuity. So that was interesting. I said, oh, that's a good thing for both of us. You know, we can have more cheese and wine. We need that. We need that. So definitely it is a healthy choice that a lot of people are using to snack on, and a good way. The cheese that we have here, yeah.
I have a question, sorry.
Yeah.
So in Asturias, when do you eat cheese? I know different cultures eat cheese at different times. Like in Spain or the south of Spain, we normally eat cheese before we have lunch. And it's like an appetizer, we call it aperitivo. And while you're having a glass of dry sherry and some olives, you have some cheese, and you're kind of waiting for lunch, no, to be prepared, and then you have lunch. Is that the same in Asturias, in the northern part of Spain?
No. In Asturias, oh, you asked me the question about how many cheese. So Enrique Nud published a book that is wonderful. He's an authority in cheese from Spain, and it's El País de los 100 Quesos. So over 100 cheeses are produced in Spain. And one of the good things about Spain is that there are a lot of small productions that are made there. There's still that artisanal, that you know, authenticity and traditions that are kept. And Asturias is a big player of that. So in consumption of cheese, Canarias is number 1. You know, goats and all of that. Canarias in consuming cheese. Asturias is the second, and Murcia is the third of people consuming cheese. So, you know, for me, when I went to,
I would have thought La Mancha is number 1, but Canary Islands, and then Asturias.
Yeah. Yes, so definitely. I mean, you think about Asturias. So for me, you know, in the US, we have it as just a, you know, cheese board, exactly as you mentioned, you know, in the South with an aperitivo and just some wine and enjoying with friends, what we all love to do. But in Asturias, for us, it was having our meal, and it was part of the sobremesa. So la sobremesa is just staying there and continuing the conversations.
What sobremesa? Some people here may not know what sobremesa.
So the sobremesa is just staying longer after you finish your meal and enjoying other foods or other wines and talking, continuing the conversation for a length of time, which is what we love, right? Long lunches and then ready for siesta. So in Asturias, part of the things that we do at home is everyone brings out the cheese board, the mega cheese board, and you know, we all have our knives and we're cutting into the cheese and having the orujo or continuing to drink the wine. And for us, it's just a part of every meal. I mean, we end as an extra dessert course, the cheese. And so that was something that was fascinating to me and that I enjoyed. And of course, we're surrounded by cheese. So why wouldn't we have, you know, more of that? So that's how we enjoy it. Yeah, definitely.
I have another question. What's the best way of serving cheese? Does that depend on the type of cheese? For example, we have these 3 cheeses here. No, one is a cow's milk cheese. We have a goat, and we have also a sheep's milk. Do you serve them always at the same temperature? Do you cut them the same way? Can you tell us a little bit about the proper way of serving and the temperature of cheese? in general
Yeah,
and specifically to these ones?
Definitely. I think as most of our cheeses imported from Spain are going to be semi-firm or aged cheeses. And I think you asked me the question before, you know, a lot of fresh cheeses, can we get queso de Burgos or, you know, requesón or different? We can't get those here because they are very delicate. If they're unpasteurized, they need a minimum of 60 days of curing. So a lot of the cheeses that you find from Spain are going to be a minimum of 2 months aged, right? So how do we serve those cheeses? I think you can bring them out at the same time. Normally, as with wine as well, Patrick. You know, if it's straight out of a cold, it needs to breathe. It needs to get alive again and kind of come back to life. So definitely, we suggest that you bring them out at least an hour. And I think it would be the same for most cheeses taken out of the fridge when you have them. Our cheeses are very easy to handle, I think, and to cut. It depends. If you look at traditional ways of cutting a manchego, usually it's done in triangles. We like to cut them in squares. Some cheeses kind of are crumbly, and so we cut them a different way, or easy for just to put them on the board. So it depends on the cheese of how you cut it and how you like to present it. And I don't like to keep a fixed mindset of this is the way you should enjoy it. I think some people.
Is Vicky going to show us how
she
to
is
cut some of these cheeses?
She's going to show us how to cut some of these cheeses. I also wanted to talk about the producers and these cheeses. So these producers are Farmstead Cheeses. So the Asturian cheeses, the Albredo, the Vidiago that some of you got. Those are Rebollín como una cabra. These are cheeses that are produced with milk from their own herds. So they don't buy milk from anywhere else. These are milks that are brought from this. So it keeps the quality. They really keep the traditions. It's all natural. It doesn't keep mold is good. You know, a lot of people, it's like, oh, moldy cheese, I have to throw it out. No, you know, that's a sign that there are no preservatives on the cheese, right? Everything gets killed off if there is something like that. So it's naturally going to grow mold because it's alive. It's alive. So that's something that I always tell people, don't throw it out. Just cut that piece off, right? And just continue to, you can store it with a little bit of olive oil, just taking care of things, you know, to keep them and enjoying that. So mold is good with cheese. We have Penicillium molds in Cabrales, many Penicillium molds in outer exteriors. So definitely that's a good sign. Keeping them enclosed a lot for a long period of time without touching is really kind of suffocating the cheese. So it's something that you want to keep, you know, take it out of your fridge, let it breathe a little bit, put it back in. If you buy bigger wedges, I always recommend buying smaller sizes and what you're going to consume within a week so that you don't have it there for a long time. Once you cut into the cheese, the cheese starts just continuing to move quicker. So that's something that I like to talk about with people. And then pairing, again, you can do so much with cheese, you know, grilling it, using it for cooking. It's just so fantastically healthy and a way to be able to use it in all of the needs that it's a perfect thing to put in your fridge and use. So Vicky's going to show us how to cut. Yeah.
Let's see it. Exactly. I'd love, we have some questions from the audience about serving wine and cheese, and we should definitely discuss that, especially what to do with, you know, leftover cheese, should you have any. Unbelievable, but maybe it's possible. And the wine too. But first, let's see how to cut it. So what we're going to do is we're going to spotlight the video with Vicky and Nacho so that we can look at this demonstration. And then after that happens, we're going to see one more demonstration on a really fun aspect of wine service that we think you guys might enjoy, that we love to do at Ole and Obrigado. And then we're going to bring everybody on so you can really dig into how these cheeses and wines are playing with one another. And like we said, we really want to hear from you about these pairings. We're going to talk about white wine, then the rosé, then the red, but you don't have to stick to that. We encourage you to kind of experiment. So with that, we would love to bring on Nacho and Victoria.
Hola everyone, welcome.
Hola Vicky, how are you?
Hola, how are you? Good. Here, I'm in the middle of a lot of bottles of wine and a lot of cheeses. They are so, I'm very well ready to start eating all of the cheeses and the wines in the company around. All right, so thank you for having us. My part is very simple, or maybe not. I'm on camera shot here. So basically, what we do at the store is playing with different type of shapes for all the cheeses we carry, of course. So we basically determine the shape or the form of the cheese, and we respect kind of that aspect, you know, but we don't want to ruin a good cheese or the texture of a grainy or semi-hard kind of cheese with a bad kind of a cutting. So first of all, so elements like cutting the cheese with a wide and correct knife. It hasn't be to be like a cheesemonger knife, but a decent sharp knife, especially for the firm and hard cheeses. So because of the time, the limitation of the time, I'm not gonna slice the cheeses in front of you. I did it already, but I can demonstrate you more or less how we decide to slice the cheeses and do the plating. So, for example, cheeses like
this big cheese that you have in front of you.
Oh my God, this is gonna be the last one.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, let me start with a small kind of wheels that we have, especially in this bag. So this is the original presentation for the cheeses we have: the Abredo, the cow's-meat cheese from Asturias, and this is the other kind of a small wheel for the Comuna Cabra, the Preboji cheese factory from Asturias as well. So especially with this type of small wheels, we cut it in half, as you can see in here. So I did for both. This is the first cut of the slicing, right? So cutting this in half. Then with a finger width wise, like this, you know, because you can see more or less the size of the cubes, the squares. So it's nice to taste this kind of a creamy cheeses like the Abredo and like the Vidiago. I know some of you have the Vidiago. The Vidiago mini is even smaller than this, and it has the same texture and a creaminess as the Abredo has. So for this type of cheese, I cut it in half. I did the finger widthwise, right? And then from then, from having those slices, I start cutting the squares like this. So
you make like cubes.
It's cubes, exactly. Squares, cubes, cuadritos in español. All right. So it's pretty much that. It's like playing and determine and the shape of the cheese, and we start playing with the creativity as well. So but this is interesting because the Comuna Cabra cheese, the original shape is this. This is the original bags, actually. Let me show you how the cheese comes in this bags. So this is the small wheel. So I did half, right? As you can see here. This is half of it. But the texture for the Comuna Cabra is different. So it is more firm. I would say it is a semi-firm. Miss Angelica, approves it. It is more firm than the Abredo. And for this type of cheese, I will go with a triangles kind of shape. So I did half, and then I did quarters, and from the quarters I did the eighths. So from the eighths, I got the small triangles. But you can play with, of course, with the size of the slice. It is.
You do a triangle because you extract more flavor, or you do a triangle because aesthetics, just because how it looks, or
depending on the texture. Exactly. In this case, especially for the Comuna Cabra, because the texture is more firm, it is easier to do triangles. And for me, it looks kind of presentable and make the platter or the board look nicer and more. And you can play with the shapes. Of course, this is a little kind of disorganized now, but yes.
Looks great from here.
Well, let me show you this.
That looks beautiful.
More or less the little cheese board
So
that
well done.
we ranch for the Comuna Cabra.
No one can compete with you on that, you know.
No, por favor, no. I'm
The
pretty
photos,
sure
the
there's a lot
photos
of
on
people.
Instagram cannot compete with you, you know.
Oh, no. So for the condiments, so the accompaniments. So of course we play with a lot of choices like fresh fruits, dry fruits like figs. We have the fruits in conserva. So we have the figs in syrup. Sometimes we carry the figs or the fig cake. The dates. I'm sorry. We add fresh fruits like grapes, strawberries, apricots. Actually, I use some dry apricots, but it's very versatile.
The almonds are amazing, eh? So good.
Oh, the almonds, of course, the apple paste that you have in your little bags as well. I'm sorry, it is the membranous, it's not the apple paste. Sometimes we play with the apple paste as well as we carry it. So we have a lot of choices in our store, and of course, we always want to show thousands of possibilities that people can, play with all of these kind of amazing ingredients like these tortas. We don't carry cookies, but we always recommend this Inés Rosales, of course, very well known, very popular. So they are savory, especially this one. They are with sea salt and seasoning, seeds, or the traditional ones are with olive oil and anise. These are with orange flavor. So we carry a huge variety of kind of Inés Rosales as a cookie replacements or crackers. The picos camperos that you receive in the bags, of course, are amazing. What are the picos camperos? Oh, I put the picos camperos. I didn't know that. Oh, gracias. I didn't. Si tú me ayudas aquí, Nacho.
Those picos is what Spaniards eat that all day long for lunch, for dinner, for breakfast. It's like the food of choice in Spain.
They are addictive. We sold those very well, yes.
And
they
can you show us the last cheese? How you cut the last cheese?
Of course, the Samorano. So for the Samorano, Samorano is a huge kind of wheel. So this is half. This is half of the wheel. It is around 6 or 7 pounds each wheel, more or less, right? 7. 7. So for this one, we do the same way. So we cut the cheese in a half, then we start in quarters, and then in eighths. So it is the easiest way to get a piece like, I don't have it, but from that kind of big triangles, we start slicing like this, or even smaller pieces, like
so
this.
Flavorful, this cheese. So
the
so
cheese.
tasty.
The Samorano, yes, from Castilla-La Mancha. I always recommend this as the father of the Manchego. Just has more personality, or no, because of that, of course, but has more structure, is more mature, and I always prefer Samorano. I'm sorry.
I like how this cheese right now is sweating. I love when it's room temperature, it starts to sweat, and I love the flavor and the nuttiness that develops once it becomes like room temperature.
It's true, especially it's raw milk. So I'm pretty sure it has the whole kind of fat, no, Angelica?
Yes, definitely. This version is a lot drier. So it's a minimum of 6 months. It's raw milk. So we didn't talk about the raw milk versus pasteurized. So the raw milk has just all of the beautiful flavors and aromas and things that are not taken from the heating of the milk, right? You want when they pasteurize, it's kind of just like, in a sense, the purists say it's just killing the milk, and killing all of that good flora as well as the bad one, right? So that's one of the factors that we enjoy most about having raw milk cheeses. We think they are more in their pure state and what we enjoy. So that's nice. And Vicky, I think our cheese boards at Despaña are very popular. And one of the things that we really enjoy to see is that a lot of the people come in and it's just sharing with friends, right? It's a meetup, right? It's meeting with people. And one of those things, a lot of our posts, I think Max say, is pictures of the cheese board and enjoying their wine next to it. And so I'm so happy that all of you are joining us tonight to do this in a virtual fashion. Hopefully we'll see a sense of normalcy sometime soon where we can see each other in person. But definitely thank you all for joining us and just having this cheese and wine experience, which is so popular and such a part of Spain and sharing.
And any other questions or, I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead, Vicky.
Any other questions or recommendations or tips are welcome. So I can give you my email or you can contact me personally at the store. I will be happy of, sharing more ideas.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing we're going to do is we're going to leave the session open at the end where we can have a little bit of a round table, kind of more fun chat, have a toast. So if you want to stay, maybe we'll get some more questions at the end. I think one thing we want to talk about right now is our favorite accompaniment with cheese, which is, of course, wine. And I know we have Nacho here. We had a great call with Nacho to talk about the wines and how to pick them with the cheeses that Despaña has provided for us tonight. So we'd love to hear about the wine and the cheese pairings. But before that, we might need a little bit of a demonstration. And so we promised you a couple demonstrations with a very special tradition. So first we want to know who's been to Spain, and we'll tell you why, because if you've been specifically to the Basque Country, you might already be familiar with what we want to show you right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this demonstration for Nacho, and then we'll bring everybody on to talk about the wine and cheese pairings.
Nacho, you're like, right now you're like Antonio Banderas, everyone is looking at you.
From the north, the Antonio Banderas from the Pyrenees. That's where I'm from.
Sonríe,
You're the one from Malaga, Patrick. You're the Antonio Banderas. You're probably closer to him than I am. But yeah.
Muchos guapos.
Let me close because I have the. Sorry, no.
Okay.
So you want to go first for the demonstration, you said?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let's start with that.
My demonstration is going to be with the Chacolí, Gaintza. This is a Chacolí Rosé from the Basque Country. It's actually made as more as a clarete. Clarete means that white and red grapes are involved at the same time. That's why it's kind of like a serious Chacolí. So the Basque Country, all the north, the Cantabrian coast in Spain has like a cider tradition. And in the way that cider is poured is kind of similar to the Chacolí. The idea is to break the bubble, right? Instead of drinking it flat, you wanna bring back that effervescence, the bubble of the Chacolí. This is kind of like a treat some Basque people or Asturian cider pourers would not approve, but it helps a lot.
It definitely helps.
You start close and then you go up, 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 up. And wow. You get all those bubbles. We're not gonna see the flow. You're not gonna.
You really know how to do it.
But it looks good here, right? And you do all these like short sips. You don't pour. This isn't too much, right? With cider and Chacolí, you pour a little bit, and you drink it. So
you pour a little bit just so that it keeps fresh all the time, no?
Exactly, right? Like, which is dangerous too. But the Chacolí, this is from the Atlantic coast. The vines face the ocean, so it's gonna get this salty minerality. They also have like the citrus notes. They have also this like grass, like a green grass notes. They are green. They come from the green part of Spain, right? They are something. They are a style of wine not to be taken too serious. They are refreshing, dry. You know, they have this fun bubble. Everything is, you know, better with bubbles. And this one, Gaintza, actually, I like it a lot. Third generation. They are authentic. They are real. They don't leave any residual sugar, which some people are doing now. And also the bubble, you know, but basically to keep the bubble, they, you know, while the grape is fermenting, they close, they bottle right away. So it's a natural bubble. They don't add any more effervescence, which is something that some producers do, and I don't approve. So the real deal, and it's 2019, and it's still full of life. Like, you know, usually you wanna drink. We are very close to the 2020, but 2019 so it's even better than some 2020s, you know. This chocolate is paired with the first cheese, cow milk cheese. The idea, you know, pairing first. I want to explain a bit about pairing. It's not an exact science, but makes sense. You know, everything makes sense with wine. Nothing is as abstract as sometimes some wine writers, wine sommeliers want to, you know, speak about. Everything makes sense in wines. With pairing, what you're gonna do is you have a balance. You have a scale in front of you for food and for wine. You put the intensity of the food, you balance with the intensity of the wine. That's it, you know. So in this case, we are trying like a creamy cheese with like a little bit buttery, some grass notes, and we are gonna look for a lighter wine, you know, light cheese with light wine. That's it.
Just a quick thing, Nacho. I think what you wanna, Erin, open this up now, and we can discuss the wines and the cheeses and the pairing aspect of it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a great idea. So we saw the demonstration of the pouring, and what we'd like to do is actually bring everybody in so we can have this conversation in a roundtable way, so that we can also see all of you and see what you're drinking as you taste the cheeses and talking about that, and see if you're agreeing with the cow's milk cheese with Gaintza, or if there's something else you like too. So we're gonna bring everybody in just 1 second. So you're going to see your screen go dark, and then you'll come back over in just a moment. It's going to look like you're cutting out, but we're actually bringing you on.
So I think it will be good that everyone tries all the wines, no, Nacho, and then we try a little bit of all the cheeses, no, and then we play, no, to see. Estás en mute, Nacho, ahora mismo.
I learned from my daughter's remote school, so I know how to use Zoom now. I'm becoming an expert. One advice for pairing that it works actually really well, and it shows how, you know, we didn't invent the wheel, is that it's an advice that says, if grow together, go together. You know, if wine and food grow together, they'll go together. And even, you know, with the cheeses, we have the example here, right? This cheese is from Asturias, is, you know, from the green part of Spain, facing the Atlantic. The wine comes from the same region. They share the same coast. So that's something that always works if you have any questions. And then just play around. You eat the cheese first, then you taste the wine, then you eat the cheese, and before you swallow the cheese, you drink a little wine and see how it works. See if you still can taste the cheese. See you can taste the wine, and look for the harmony, you know, of both working, you know, together. The second, can I talk about the second pairing?
I think before we talk about the pairings, let's have everyone. I mean, most of you have tried the wines by now, and probably all of you have tried all the cheeses. I think
Is there any wine left?
we're almost out here, but I think it's helpful for people to play, you know, with this experience. Pairing wine with food is supposed to be a really fun experience, and one of the purposes of wine is to amplify flavor. So wine is the best companion of food, and you know, I often refer to wine as a liquid ingredient, and it's an ingredient that can really promote and amplify flavor and make food taste so much better. So, you know, we've been doing now these episodes for the last 8 months, and our goal is to help people have fun and enjoy the great rewards of pairing wine with food. That's the goal and objective, one of the goals and objectives of this series of virtual experiences. Another very important goal is to help different important causes be able to have a voice and raise funds, no, for what they do. But on the topic of pairing wine with food, it's such a rewarding experience and makes food so much more tasty when you find the right partner, the right wine for the right food. So I would like everyone to take a tiny bit of every cheese, try a little bit of the cow's cheese, that's the softest cheese, the one that has this light orange color. Then have a little bit of the goat cheese, that's the white, you know, hard cheese, and then try a little bit of that, you know, dark sheep's milk cheese, and try to understand the components. One is softer, one is a little bit more pungent and nutty, and the other one, it's a little bit more almost, you know, peppery and darker and more mushrooms, and try to understand, no? One is softer in flavor and more creamy, the other one is more nutty, the other one is more, you know, profound and dark and deeper, richer cheese. And it's good to classify the flavors, no? It's not the same as eating a banana and a piece of dark chocolate. One is light and soft, the other one is very, you know, flavorful and rich. And when you're trying to match and pair food with wine or wine with food, you have to kind of understand the components. So the first part is kind of understanding what foods do we have in front of us. Okay, I think that maybe some of you now, all of you have done this exercise, and then we have 3 wines. No, we have one that is a white wine that is, you know, good in acid. It's a very elegant, delicate white wine. That's the Candea. Then we have another one that has the rosé, the chacolí, that the one that Nacho was pouring with the venenciador, no, or with the, he was doing this. This chacolí is a little bit, you know, more structure, more body. It's a richer, you know, wine than the white wine. It has bubbles also, which fill out your mouth. So it's not the lightest of the wines, so it's not gonna go with the lightest of the cheeses. And then you have, you know, the red Gordo wine made in honor of my father, by the way. That's how we call him at home, Gordo. And that's, you know, a richer style wine, earthy notes of thyme and rosemary, and that, you know, is the you know, the richest wine of the 3. So now the game is, let's find the best cheese for the Candea, which is the lightest and most delicate wine of the trio here. Let's find the best cheese for that, and let's explore. And maybe we share notes at the end, no? Who thinks what goes best with what? But this exploration of flavor is fun. And then I would like to say, Nacho, that there are three, and maybe you can let me know what your thoughts are, but there are like three types of pairings. There are three ways of pairing wine with food. One is to find flavors that complement each other, right? Sometimes, you know, flavors are complementary. Then you have flavors that amplify, no? Matches or pairings that amplify flavor. For example, Albarino, it's a white grape from Spain with things that have citrus. You put those things together and it's an explosion of flavor. So in some cases, pairings amplify. And then there is another type of pairing that is contrast. You can have something sweet and something salty together and it's incredible. And they're not complementary. It's a contrast of flavor. So now the game is, how do these wines pair with each other? Is it because they're opposites and they attract to each other, salt and sweet? Or is it that they amplify each other? One thing with the other, it's a volcano? Or is it that just one complements the other? So this is, in my way, the way I look at pairings. No, there are these three things. I don't know what you think, Nacho, but that's how I, in my mind, think of pairings.
Well, we also have some questions from the audience too. Someone would like to know what wines go well in a Perone, which I believe Nacho is going to show us, or Patrick could show us. And we've got some comments that the Candea, the white wine, is really good with the olives. It's standing up to the saltiness of olives. People are saying Gordo and Manchego or Samorano is a good match, the fruitiness with the nuttiness. Lots of comments coming in. People are really playing around with these pairings here. Gordo and almonds. So thank you all. We definitely want to hear what you're eating and what you're drinking with those bites as you go through. Should we do the Perone demonstration?
That's you, right, Patrick?
Hey,
I can do that. I don't want to get, I don't want to get.
Just before I do the Perone demonstration, I wanted to say one more thing about pairing wine with food. The best way to do this is first you take a bite of the food, you put it in your mouth, and then you take a sip of the wine. And then you will know if the wine complements the flavors of the food, or it amplifies them, or is a totally no-no. Sometimes, you can have, for example, if you're having a salmon or let's say caviar, for example, not something very fancy, caviar and Cabernet Sauvignon, that they're opposites and they don't work with each other. You will not like the caviar and you will not like the Cabernet Sauvignon, okay? Even though on its own you may love Cabernet and you may love the caviar, okay? So the way to do it is first you try the food and then you put some of the wine inside as an ingredient, not as a beverage, not as something to quench your thirst. You want the liquid of the wine to be a part of the flavors of the food that you have in your mouth. And then you will see how that works out. Is it complementary? Does it amplify? How is that? For example, I'm just gonna give you a quick example because this is a really fun exercise. When you try the Candea, the first white, with the first cheese, which is the
Vidiago
cow's
Vidiago or Abredo.
Vidiago, Abredo, you try that. In my opinion, you have the acidity of the wine cuts through the butterness of the cheese. This cheese is very creamy and has some beautiful butter, and it's very creamy, right? And you have that wine afterwards, and the acidity on the wine cleans your palate. It's like a clean slate, and what invites you to have more cheese. Imagine if you're not having wine. Imagine you're having water, no acidity. This creaminess, eventually, it may tire your palate. And you may be like, I need to change what is in my mouth because I'm not longer enjoying this creaminess. It's too much. But this wine, it helps you clean your palate, reset. It's like a reset button, and now you want more. So in this case, this is not a pairing of contrast. It's not a pairing of amplification of flavor. It's a complementary pairing. It's something that resets your palate and allows you to have more and enjoy more. I don't know if you are experiencing this, but that's, you know, how I like to play with wine and food. And I think you enjoy more the wine and you enjoy more the food. And at the end, it's a better product than having just the wine or just the food.
So we're getting a ton of great commentary that people really like the Candea Blanco with all three cheeses, with the goat's milk cheese, with the Abreda, with the Viriago. It's awesome. I'm wondering if we can quickly talk about the last pairing, the Samorano with the red wine, because that's definitely two really strong flavors. And then we're going to remind ourselves about why we're here, and one of the reasons why we're here, which is to raise funds for the Restaurant Workers Community Foundation. And then we'll close, but we're going to stay and hang out and have more of this conversation going. So if Nacho, Patrick, Angelica, if you want to talk about the red wine, the father of Samorano with the father of Patrick Mata tribute wine is a perfect pairing. If someone wants to speak to why those flavors work well together, and then let's hear again from Cassandra.
So Nacho, we give you the microphone to you. You chose Gordo, so tell us why you chose this wine for the last cheese, the most flavorful cheese of the three.
Yeah.
So the Gordo wine from Yecla, Monastrell with Cabernet Sauvignon. I love the Monastrell grape. I think it's super underrated. It's called a Mourvedre in France. It shows the Mediterranean character, the ripe fruit, the cassis, the berries, the rosemary, the thyme. With the Cabernet getting more structure, some oak, some toasted notes from the oak. Here we are talking about, you know, heavyweight food and wine. So for the, you know, for the Samorano, for the intensity of Samorano, you have to find a wine with enough intensity to, you know, to hold in the palate. And this will be a pairing, as Patrick was saying. This will be a pairing by contrast. You know, it will be a pairing by the nuttiness, the saltiness from the Samorano combined with the fruit, the sweetness from the Gordo. Great value. I mean, how much is this wine, Patrick? Retail? It's like less than $20.
$17, $18.
So we are talking about, you know, a great value wine that and even, you know, going back to if they go together, you know, Samorano, it's kind of similar to Manchego, the profile, and Yecla is very close to La Mancha. So we go back again to how they work together. But yeah, so it will be a pairing by contracts in the same way that we, you know, we use the membrillo for the Samorano. You are adding the cassis, you know, the fruit from the Gordo wine. That's what I like this pairing a lot.
Angelica, what do you think?
I love it. I think, you know, the Samorano, as we spoke before, is a very powerful cheese. You know, it has all those flavors, all those textures. It's dry, it's sweating at this point, right, of our conversation. So all of the oils are seeping. It has a lot of little eyes, right? We call these eyes. You see all these little, in the other cheeses, you don't find this. So these are good things. You know, the other things that I'd like to talk about are the little crunchy aspects of the cheese. Sometimes those are protein sediments called tirosina. So some people say, oh, is that salt? I'm like, no, it's actually, it gives you an indication that the cheese has been aging for a long time. So it's enjoyable. You find that in Gouda, you find that in, you know, aged cheeses, which is nice. And out of all the wines that we've had, I think the structure of the wine complements the cheese, right? It's kind of, it fits, it makes it nice, and it kind of plays nice with it. So I enjoy this pairing, And I think the raw milk cheeses kind of, it's the length. So they both play nice. You can taste the wine, but you can also have the length of the cheese staying on your palate. And I think that's a perfect compliment. They both talk to you in a nice way. So that's my feeling for this cheese, and I love it. Samorano, raw milk, and yeah.
One last thing about pairing, like people are loving the Candea. This is, you know, it's so versatile, like it, because it has the weight and the acidity. It has the floral notes and the minerality. So this is a wine that we, like sommeliers, you know, use a lot for pairing, because it can go well with, you know, if you drink it cold, can go well with seafood. If you drink it a little bit more, you know, not closer to room, like not room temperature, but, you know, less, a little bit warmer, it goes well with chicken. My point with the Candea and the Rebollin, the second cheese, is that is the pairing the spiciness from this short-aged cheese with the floral notes from Candea. Of course, it goes well, you know, it goes, as Patrick said, it goes well with the first cheese too. But I like it, you know, coming from Spain, in New York, global city, global cuisine, and when you want to drink wine with spicy food, when you want to do like, you know, Vietnamese, Chinese, Indian food, these kind of wines, the Candea is the ones that you want to go for. You want some, the weight, the floral notes, you know, some of the, you know, sweetness is what it pairs well with the spicy stuff. That's
I also want to say that I agree with the rest of the Candea is a beautiful wine. I'm biased. I love Jose Luis Mateos. I love his style. I have to say it. But I think the high acidity, but it's an acidity that's well integrated at this point. I think it fits in nice, and with all the qualities of the cheese, I think even with Samorano, it blends in nice. And so I also like it. I tried it now with this, and I think it works. I think, you know, Candea is a really nice, it gives you that spicy notes, I think, with the Samorano, with the piquant notes on the back of your throat. So I like that as well. If you enjoy that flavor with olive oils, you get that. Sometimes when you get the Arbequina or Hojiblanca olive oils, you kind of get that piquant notes in the back of your, you know, your tongue. So I love that. And I like Candea. And I think that wine, that white wine, works really nicely. And I do believe that the Gaintza Chacoli just is a palate cleanser. It kind of sets the stage for a newcomer, you know, to come in. So that's my feedback on those wine pairings.
I want to say, Angelica, the first time I met you was with Jose Luis Mateo when he was in New York City 3 years ago when we did that seminar tour with him. So I have fond memories of that. I also cannot believe that an hour has flown by here. So we want to just do a couple things really quickly before we spend a little more time. You know, cheese and wine pairing can be controversial. It's fun. I would love to keep this conversation going, but we really do want to bring it back to a couple takeaway points. One of which was first to thank you all for being here. And we hope you'll join us again at these experiences. We do these every month. And we really just, you know, love spending time with you and raising funds for incredible causes like the Restaurant Workers Community Foundation. So with a few more notes about what's really important about the work that is being done right now, I would just want to bring Cassandra back to speak on the importance of the COVID Relief Fund and where your tickets and additional donations have gone tonight.
Awesome. So yes, it's so good just seeing everybody on here, and I'm seeing you guys interact with us on social media. So just want to say thank you to all of you for being here, just having a great time. We recently launched the Racial Justice Fund as well. Just a new initiative to just highlight more Black and Indigenous organizations that are helping restaurant workers. So I just wanted to bring you guys up to speed. We launched it at the top of March. But as you guys know, like now that COVID has come a year, like not much has changed for restaurant workers. You know, with the new relief bill that is out, there's going to be some help, but restaurants are really truly still suffering, and all of your donations count. They help restaurant workers again nationwide. So we're really just grateful. I know that they're going to drop the link one more time for donations, but just wanted to say thank you again to you guys for supporting the Restaurant Workers Community Foundation. And, you know, please feel free to reach out to us if you want to volunteer, or if you know a restaurant worker that needs assistance, that we can get the help to, resources that you might have. We share those all the time. So please feel free to reach out to me, and just looking forward to connecting with all of you. So thank you again.
Thank you, Cassandra. Please, everyone, vote generously. It's an industry that, you know, that needs the help. They're the place where you go to. I mean, I love restaurants. I've missed it so much. Cocktails, having a nice cocktail, and just so definitely just you know, it's a place that a lot of people gone home when, especially New York. So definitely, I would encourage everyone to donate generously tonight to those workers that are out there and serving, and that have been, you know, hard hit with this, as many others. And again, I don't want to close this session, and I think, Patrick, you have to show us the Perone, and you know, in celebration of this gathering of so many people. So this, you thought you were going to be let off the hook. No, señor. Tienes que hacer el Perone. Yes. So
Okay,
let's do this.
I'm gonna try. This is what Spaniards use to drink wine when they're in the countryside. It's a very easy vessel because you fill it up with wine, and you don't need, if there are 10 people, you don't need 10 glasses. Everyone drinks out of this. And basically you have a small spigot here. Let's see if I can do this.
Let me get a nice video here, Patrick. Nice.
Wait, you have to try it with white wine, not red. We won't do it with the Gordo, por favor.
Yeah, wine is
one of each.
I don't advise. But this is also a very fast way of getting very tipsy, you know, or piripi, as we say in Spanish.
That was amazing.
I wanted to say just a few words real quick about Angelica and Despaña, Nacho, Vicky, Max, Cassandra from the Restaurant Workers Community Foundation. I am very grateful for what you do. For me, we have been working with Despaña now for more than 10 years, and Angelica is an incredible human being. She runs a beautiful store in Soho. They have incredible artisanal products. They have been devoted to this cause of bringing the finest gourmet specialty foods from Spain for a long time. And I don't know if you've been to their store, but it's a beautiful place. And they have things that no one can find. Incredible olive oils, these incredible Carmona, the almonds, no? So it's I highly recommend visiting Despaña. And Cassandra, thank you for what you do. Thank you for bringing hope to so many people in the restaurant community. We are very happy to be a part of the efforts and the work that you're doing. And I wish that there were more people doing the work that you're doing. This brings a lot of hope to so many people in the industry, and thank you for that.
Well, we'd love to have a toast. That seems like a good thing to do right now, right? So pick your favorite wine.
Everyone is taking the Candea, no?
And I'm gonna get a photo for our Despaña's Instagram here.
This is great. So
Cheers to all of you.
What was, I have a question, maybe people can put it on the chat. What was your favorite pairing? Which cheese with which wine?
There were no
Samorano with el Gordo.
So Gaintza with the gold, Laura with Candea. Rosé with the goat, I agree. The rosé with the goat cheese, incredible, no? The weight of the rosé and the goat cheese, that was great. See, the last cheese, no, with Gordo also, that Gaintza, Candea and Vidago. I agree. The Candea and the Vidago, to me, you can be eating that all day long. This is fun to see what people say. Wow, this is great.
And Helica, I'm glad you gave a shout out to the crunchies in the Samorano. They're special.
Yeah. Angelica, thank you for.
I'm a huge fan of textures. This has been wonderful. I want to open it. People, talk to us. Did you enjoy this?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Unmute yourself.
Everyone is. I love this.
Very
Amazing.
I have a question
Burgos.
about the tomato.
Tomato pate.
The tomato. What cheese does that best go with? I think it's the drier, the sheep's milk cheese the tomato goes with. And but I wasn't sure what wine. I mean, if you put it with that cheese, it kind of reminds me of, sorry if I mentioned Italy, like a lasagna or the combination of cheese and Italian dishes. But I think the tomato does go well with some of the cheeses, but has that been mentioned tonight and I just slept through it?
It hasn't. I have to answer that question. It's one of those things that, pâtés are, a lot of people tell me, do you have any meat pâtés or fish pâtés and vegetables? So we don't have any meat pâtés, right? Because of regulations. And so this pâté of dried tomatoes, and this is from Murcia, which is a green land of vegetables with Navarra. So those two regions in Spain are huge producers of many different green things. And I agree with you. I think the pâté is a savory kind of, it blends in nicely with the saltiness and kind of the texture of the Samorano. I think it overpowers the other cow's milk cheeses, and the goats kind of, it might play nice. I think it works, but I think we put that in with the Samorano. So, hopefully a lot of people kind of give us suggestions of what they thought of that. And we put in the olives with the anchoas. So they're stuffed with anchovies, and a lot of Americans, I think when we talk about anchovies, it's like, ooh, do I like them? I think they're very salty. But I have to say, in Spain and even in the US, it's one of our most sold items. So manzanilla olives stuffed with anchovies are amazingly good, as you tried tonight. I hope that you all kind of give us feedback on that. But they're one of the best sellers, and I think they work with a lot of the cheeses, and in particular with the Samorano cheese. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. And we didn't mention it, so you didn't sleep through it. You were very attentive. But yes, the dried tomatoes, I think it works well. It's a pâté, and it works like on toast with a little bit of olive oil. We have a beautiful Finca La Torre from Malaga, Patrick, that you bring in, which I love. And I've brought it to Colombia, which is, there's not a lot of availability of olive oils. And when they tried that was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it's a great olive oil producer. One of my two favorites, Finca La Torre and Macià l'Altet, with a toast and Samorano and a pâté spread of sun-dried tomatoes is beautiful. So try that at home.
Let me ask a question about the tomato pâté. Unfortunately, our tomato pâté container broke open during shipment. So we had a lot of interesting things there. And I tried to find another one and on the internet, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of tomato pâtés. There seems to be a lot of tomato paste. So like if I wanted to get a tomato pâté again, how could I obtain one?
So I'll answer that question. I'm sorry that you received the box that didn't open. We're working on all of these logistical and
it just
and
added
far
more
away.
flavor to everything.
I'm sorry. But Yes, there are a lot of sun-dried tomatoes, and again, we go back to the Italian tradition in the U.S. and you know, sun-dried tomatoes, I think, are very much in tune with the Italian concept. But we have this, and so this producer is from Murcia, and he makes this pate with oil, with olive oil, and it makes it a little bit more creaminess to it, and so it works nicely. Villa Olivo does a great job of that. And so definitely, I really can't tell you where else to buy it locally. You can send us a DM message to our Despaña NYC Instagram or an email to info@despañabrandfoods.com. And Max or I or
I was going to say, you can send me an email directly if you want.
Definitely.
Maybe we can get you a new tomato pate.
We will send that to you.
So he doesn't, it's not sold in cans or anything. It's sold.
No.
Okay, because I would like to taste it more. It was interesting when I did the research. Sort of gets to be a confusion between paste and pate when you start to look at different things on the internet, you know, and obviously there's a difference there, but, you know, people sort of go back and forth on the internet as to what is what.
Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned that. We see it in the original packaging as a pate, and I think it has a lot more consistency, but definitely in transit, I know that the olive oil kind of seeps through. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, but we'll get some of that too, so you can try it in the full state and enjoy with many different things in pastas and you know, as I said, in little tomatoes, you know, as a brioche, something like that you can do.
It sounds really interesting, and really, you're right. There's a lot of different things you could do with it, I think. So we were intrigued by it, but thank you all for putting this on, by the way, because it always is interesting to try different foods from different areas.
Can I say one last thing while everyone's here? So I think afterwards we're going to send out a follow-up email, but there'll be a promotional code for you guys to all utilize on our website. So you can do a shop for any other Spanish ingredients you might like, and there'll be, I believe, a 15% off code for you to use. So
great.
whatever you might be interested in, you'll be able to access on our site, specifically for you guys that attended this event.
I might be Max, the 15% code applies to the wines and the food as well.
I don't believe the wines, but only the foods on our food website.
Max, can we still ship wines from our cafe? Maybe that still applies for those 3 wines that we have.
What we'll do is we'll keep the wines that were available on our local site, and then we can, if people live out of the tri-state area, you can shoot us a note and we can send you some wines directly as well. But you can always call the wine store or email Nacho. Maybe you can throw his email in as well.
Speaking of Nacho, I'm sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I actually noticed that Nacho wasn't drinking from the Perone earlier, and I'm really sorry to bring this up, but I feel like Nacho should be the one to show us how to do the Perone. So could he please just at least have a little bit from the Perone? I don't know if he's still there.
He's there. Of course he's there. Nacho.
It would be pretty awkward if he didn't. So, no.
Nacho, don't hide.
Love it.
It's been years since I drank from the porron. Oh, by the way, the question about which wines to drink from a porron is, you know, drink like simple, refreshing wines. The idea is not a, you know, don't drink Gran Reservas. But we used to drink, you know, honestly, we would put this in the freezer. My grandpa always have it with red wine, but we will do beer with Cas Limon, the one we sell next door, like a Mau Cas Limon, and cold. It's been such a long time, but.
Well done.
Bueno. Does anyone else have a porron at home?
Yes.
I mean, I cannot imagine that me and Nacho are the only one.
They have a
Nobody said yes.
Vicky,
Aaron, Lara, that should be a poll question. Who has a porron at home? And if you don't have
Yeah, we'd love to see your Perone if you have.
No. It's gonna be a bad show. No.
Venga, Vicky.
Actually, no, mira, Angelica.
We want to see you, Vicky.
Angelica is supporting me.
This
No.
is the best part of the show.
Don't touch it with your lips.
Backyards have a Perone.
It's hard. It is hard. No, but you gotta practice a lot. But thank you for encouraging
With
me.
water.
Yes. Well, water from Spain, from the Basque country. Oh my God.
Now, Brooke, don't you have a Perone, Brooke? I think you know how to do this, right?
I do, but I think all my Perones are in the restaurant.
Oh,
That's a good excuse, but I don't believe it.
thank you, everyone. I want to raise a salute with your favorite
Salud.
wine. Thank you for this. It's amazing technology. I've always been a technology kind of like, I was stressing out about being, online. But I have to say that this is an amazing experience. This has kept us alive and connected. And that is what I think that's what we all yearn for. And I love being here tonight. I love spending my vacation time with all of you from Colombia with a lot of love and with my heart of Spain. I raise my glass with my little Torito of New York. My heart is always in New York.
That's sweet.
So all of the restaurant workers in New York that have been 35% today, 50%, no, tomorrow, 50%. And to the rest of the nation, we're strong. We'll get through this. And thank you all for joining us. Salud to all of you with a porrón or with a glass.
Salud.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Ole, obrigado. Thank you, Patrick, Aaron, Lara, everyone on the team. I miss you all in New York. I love you all. Thank you so much. Y bueno, salud. And we'll continue. Pero si puedes.
Salud, obrigada.
Salud.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you all so much, and we hope that you had a great time. We were seeing a lot of feedback that Spain has 100 cheeses, thousands of wines, probably around 2 as an order. So the best way to find out when the next one will be is to stay tuned and follow us and sign up for our email list. So head over to our website so you can find out when we're going to do this again with our friends from Despaña. And we just want to thank you again for being here and for your support of the Restaurant Workers Community Foundation. And we hope to see you again soon.
Wait, I want to say something else. I want to give an important shout out to my daughter, Cecilia, and to Marcos, my husband, that are logged on from New York. And, they were stressed out about doing this, but I miss you. I love you. And I'll be back home soon. Salud.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Además vino, Nacho, por favor. No me importa, pero
Thank
quiero
you.
más vino.
This is an amazing experience that we have.
Freaking nacho.
Ya me hizo llorar aquí.
Amazing experience
Necesito
to
más
repeat.
vino, me hizo llorar aquí.
Nacho's gonna sleep in the wine shop
So you
tonight.
need to do more
So
wine.
emotional. And it's my daughter's birthday, so I'm celebrating too. I'm sorry.
Still don't know why
That's why, yes.
Patrick got a Grammy Award back there. We see the Grammy Award on the back.
Yeah,
What is that award?
That's a record I received from Johnny Cash.
Ah, wow.
Oh, in the back.
It's through, not directly, indirectly from Johnny Cash, through
Wow.
a foundation we
That's
help
amazing.
that is very close to supports cancer research. And we help this foundation a lot with a wine that we have. It's called Liquid Geography, that donates 100% of the profits to this foundation. And the people that run this foundation are very close to the music industry. And they wanted to send this award, and that's why I got this record. But I don't sing. You don't want me here singing,
Oh, I thought you were the singing wine guy here and you're gonna pull out your guitar. That's really neat.
I only know one song, and you know, I only sing this song after 2 bottles of wine. You know, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
This is
You guys need
crazy.
to cheer up.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Next-
everyone.
Next
Hasta próximo.
experience, maybe I sing a song.
Salud.
The next one we're gonna do is
Definitely in for the
tortilla,
next
tortilla de
experience.
patatas. So we hope to see you next month, and thank you again so much, Angelica, Nacho, Max, Vicky,
Oh, no.
Sandra, all of you. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night. Bye.
So nice to
Tears in the night.
Yeah.
Extreme.
That's great. So we're doing what? Tortilla de patatas next time?
Tortilla.
again?
Yes.
And paella, no? And paella.
Paella. Yeah.
That's great.
Tus patatas, Patrick.
Sí, well,
Katie
we have a
Button.
better chef than me, much better. Katie Button
Okay.
is doing the tortilla de patatas.
Ah, muy bien. I gotta sign on. Muchas gracias, everyone. Thank you so much. I love this. Gracias.
Great.
David, nice to see you. All of my team
David.
from New York. Salud. Un abrazo.
Salud.
See you next
Salud.
time.
Cheers.
Max, Vicky,
Gracias,
Nacho, great
Angelica.
job. Gracias. Adios.
Eric, do you have a
Amazing. Thank
Perone?
you
I
for
mean, we
everything.
didn't see you with the Perone
Where's
tonight.
Eric? Who's Eric? Vamos a ver. Where are you?
I need to get a Perone, Patrick. I need to get this to this
Come
Despaña
on,
and buy myself a Perone.
I have to send. We can't ship the Perone. So where are you? You can pick it up.
I'm in New York. I think last time that I had my friends over, we passed around the Perone, and that's what happens when you have Perone. You put way too many bottles of wine in it, and I think
That's the fun part. Yeah.
you know,
And then the
I got
Perone
my
eventually
Perone today
breaks.
because one
yeah,
of you guys bought
exactly.
it.
So, Lara, don't you have a Perone at home? I mean, you know,
Lara, where are you,
Oh,
Lara? Lara, show us your Perone skills. Come on. I couldn't bring one.
This is actually, I fill it up with water sometimes. So this is how I hydrate myself. So
I mean, show me. Show us. Show us.
No, you have to show us. You have to
Come
show
on,
us.
women power, dale.
Lara,
honestly,
Lara,
Lara,
Lara.
Come on, Lara, do it, do it.
for beginners, I always recommend starting close and then pulling your arms straight out. Okay, so
Look at you. You have some style.
Nice.
Wow, look at you. Look at you. Look at
Oh, look at
thank you.
that.
I'm not as good as that, but in college I was pretty good at keg stands, which is kind of
Nice.
That's my brother,
So,
everyone.
David, I see you having a really good time. Don't you have a Perone at home?
Gotta get one, David.
David
I have to give
Romero.
you one. David.
We saw
David,
their
you-
Perone. There is.
Oh,
You have a Perone? Oh my God. Oye, no le pongas aguardiente, ¿eh? David.
No, para nada. I actually got this today. When I was leaving the store, someone in the audience stopped by in for the class today, and they were like, "I need to have a Perone for this class." And then I thought to myself, I don't have a Perone at home, so I got one for myself and I brought it home. So I'm excited about this. So we'll try this.
Eso,
Ah.
¿eh?
Look at you.
Nice.
It's just like aguardiente. Cheers.
That's great. Well
Salud.
done.
Gracias.
Salud.
This has been so much fun. Thank you all for being
Amazing.
here.
I loved it. Loved the
Thank
experience.
you. This is what it's all about, connections and enjoying
Amazing.
and
Amazing.
stories.
I think everyone that does not have a Perone is gonna have to go to Soho tomorrow and get a Perone for the weekend.
Yes, yes.
That's all I have to say. I see many people out there in the audience, and I've been looking at the pictures and the videos, and they've been talking to their partner and saying, "Do we have a Perone? We gotta get one tomorrow." So we'll have one tomorrow morning for everybody at the store.
Yes, and it's only for wine, not for olive oil. This is for wine. The viscosity does not go through with the olive oil. You want it for wine.
I think Casa Carson Brown probably has a Perone in there somewhere. They've got a
Where
good
are you?
group
Come on,
going.
show us your Perone skills.
Ben Carson,
Ben, show up. Ben.
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah.
we see you.
I don't have a Perone. I see it on the table.
Ben,
Here he goes.
Ben.
Ben is
Where's
coming
Ben?
closer to the camera.
Ben is our general manager for Ole and Obrigado. He has
Where's
very
Ben?
good
I can't
skills.
find
Can you
Ben.
hear me?
Bottom left, bottom left.
Yes.
It's a travesty, but I do not have a Perone at home, but I will have a Perone next month for
Yeah,
sure.
like-
I have Perones in my office, but not here.
That's yes. Hola.
I can't wait. This has been amazing. This has been so much fun. Angelica,
Hi,
these
Ren.
cheeses and everything were so delicious. Hey, Kristen. It's been such a fun night. What a beautiful event. Thank you for doing all this.
Thank you. Gracias.
Good. Well, guys, I'm gonna start cooking. I have some cooking to do at home.
What's on the menu?
He's an excellent cook. Now you have to share. What are you making?
I'll show you what we have on the menu here. We have pasta made like a risotto. Let's see if I can show you.
That doesn't sound very Spanish.
No, not very Spanish, but very, very tasty.
Very tasty. You've fulfilled your Spanish quota for the hour. You're good.
Muchas gracias, everyone. Thank you
Thank
so
all
much.
so much. We hope to see you again soon.
See you guys.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Happy
Bye.
Yeah, everybody.
birthday.
Thank you so
Happy
much.
cooking.
Gracias.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Night.